Well, alright guys, Hayzink here, and welcome back to the channel for another Disgaea RPG video. So as you can see, I've cleaned myself up a little bit. I've had a bit of a shave, well I say a shave, a bit of a beard trim. I've changed my setup a little bit at home, so you'll notice I'm a bit further away from the camera now. I hope it's an improvement, that you don't need to see my face as close up. But anyway, today we are going to talk about something that I did say to you guys that I was going to be bringing you, and that is going to be a review of raids and how raids went. Now, if you remember back in the video I done for the 7 Deadly Sins overview about how the collab went and stuff, I said I wanted to wait until the raids finished because I wanted to make sure that Bolt Trend had done a few things, had made a few things different, and hopefully had improved on what happened last time. So now the results are in, we can go and have a look at that, and I'm quite happy with my results. And looking at the top 10, quite a few of the people in the top 10 are either people that I talk to on the main Discord or are members of my Discord. So I wanted to give them all a little shout out, and obviously in this video, in the comments down below, I'd like you guys to let me know how you got on with raids, okay? So we're going to go and look at the final standings, and I did make it into the top 10. And I think I made it into the top 10 with a bit of a different build than most people ran, which was actually fairly interesting to see. If you haven't already, please consider liking the video and subscribing to the channel. Only like the video if you like the content, but if you're one of the viewers who watch the channel and aren't already subscribed, please consider doing so because it does help. And again, comment down below and let me know how you got on with this one. So before we look at anyone else, we're going to obviously bask in the glory of me coming 9th, which I will take. It's not the greatest score in the world, but I came top 10. I can't argue with that at all. I'm very happy. To be honest, I forget the team that I used to get the top score. I think it was Zed, Demon Girl Elizabeth. I think possibly it was Usalia. I also used Dark Knight. I think I used Dark Knight and Meliodas, and my strategy was fairly simple. It was use Princess Etna, use Devil Girl Elizabeth as a buffer and a healer. To be honest, healing's not that important. I'll explain why in a minute. Use the other characters as a buffer, except Zed I also used as Mega Armor Break. Now, I'll tell you right now, every single person on this top 10, we will go through them, but every single person on this top 10 will have basically used the same strategy that I used, okay? That strategy basically is farm crits, okay? Now, Hammy, who is the person in first place, he may not have used this strategy, but basically what you had to do was survive the first wave, okay? Because if any of your original characters died in the first wave or two before you clear the first bar, you kind of had to start again. After that, each bar you cleared, Dianne wouldn't kill you. Dianne would just take a portion of all of your character's health, okay? However, she would not kill them. So what you basically had to do was clear the first bar, clear the second bar, and get as close as possible to the last bar. And then at that point, you're essentially chasing a crit, okay? If you did not get a crit, you would die. It didn't matter how good you were, you would die. So basically, it was all about crit farming. Now, for some people that could get a bit crazy and a bit annoying. One person in particular who I'm going to give a shout out to as we go through this got quite sweaty with the crit farming, and he thought up a few strategies, and I'll give him a shout out when we do come across him. But for now, we're going to look at Hammy, who's changed his name just now, but this is Hammy. A member of my Discord, also a member on the main Discord. He's got a very good team. He, as you can see here, he really went for all-out power, buffing his Clydia. He also used debuffing from Ban, who actually would take away stats from... would remove a buff, okay, because what I was doing 50% armoured down, okay, but Dianne would still boost her own defence by 50%, so what it basically meant was you had a net gain of 0, so you weren't really debuffing her at all, whereas what Hammy was doing was he was doing defence down. I'm not sure if any of these characters armour break, I've not really looked into them, but he may well have been doing armour break on top, but It looks to me as though he was going for a speed strategy as well as using a lot of different buffers on the team. So Hammy, shout out to you, rightful first place. The one thing I will say that Bolt Trend did do is they went in at the end and they removed the cheaters. So the top 10 is legit. The top 10 is legit. Up until like 24 hours before it ended, I didn't think it was going to be. I thought there was still a chance that one cheater was going to sneak their way through, but they cleaned up the leaderboards and everyone in at least the top 10 deserves to be there. So big shout out to you, Hammy. Well done for coming first in the raids. I hope you enjoy your couple of extra quarts. Uzu, another person that is in my Discord, who was doing really well. He changed up his team as well, but he put up some videos showing people the kind of strats that he was using. Was actually quite helpful to other people, which was obviously very good as well. A lot of the same idea going on here. We've got buffs, we've got debuffs, but again you'll notice a recurring theme using Calidia. So good shout out to you as well, buddy. Again, another person that we know from the Discord. You can see similar sort of a strategy here, except we're going for speed buffing and Mega Braveheart on Calidia. You'll notice that the common theme right now seems to be most people ran with Calidia. Or Kildia. I like calling him Kildia. It's probably not the way you pronounce it, but I'm going to go back to calling him Kildia. It's the name I like to use, and I'm just going to keep using that name. So, yeah, that's what we'll do. Bald head as well, by the way. So, we'll continue on and look at the rest of these people. Dryzex, another one that's a member of my Discord and the main Discord. Again, you can see here, he's went a bit different. This is the first one we've seen that's a bit different. Big power going to the DPS here, which is Xenofuka. Xenofuka is really good, so there's obviously been speed getting used here. You've also got Mega Braveheart coming from here. Good damage from Xenofuka. Again, good shout out to you. Good shout out to you. Big shout out to you. Unfortunately, at this point, we all start to get the same amount of points. Okay, PK70, I believe, is another member from both Discords. I forget your actual name right now. I'm sorry. I apologise. I'm going to get heat for this one. But most people who are on my friends list are on one of the two Discords, and I believe you are. Again, you can see very similar strat to everything we've seen above here. Putting all the power into this man here. Again, Mega Braveheart coming from here. Probably speed buffs coming from here. The strategy here was probably buff her with speed. Then she can cast her buff and she can post her buff and heal a few times in a turn if you use it correctly. So again, all the buffing is going on to Kildia. Let's move on. Azrael, yes, this I believe Azrael was the first guy who decided to change his strategy and go for Meliodas in the end. Up until he put his score up here, I was the only person running Meliodas. This is the sweaty man that I was mentioning. He was farming crits like an absolute mofo to the point where he actually put a gun on Meliodas to secure the crit. Again, the only way you could really get the score was by farming crits. But again, big shout out to you, Azrael. You've done well, mate. Well done. I was beating you until the last day. I'm still not changing my name on Discord. It's staying the same. So we'll move on and we'll look at my main man, Foodreef. Big supporter of the channel. I know a lot of you guys watching these videos are big supporters of the channel, but Foodreef is a really big supporter of the channel. He's been a big supporter of me for a long time. There's just a lot of stuff. I don't really want to go into it in video, but you know what you've done. You're a good man. But anyway, his team here, obviously he's going with buffing, he's going with armor break here from Curtis. And he's also the first person on this leaderboard who has Asagi. There was other people with Asagi, but Asagi seemed to fall by the wayside as this event went on. But he continued to farm crits. And the strange thing is, he has a higher score than me, and I believe he got this score on the 9,190 boss or something. My score was actually on the 9,300 and something boss. So it just goes to show you how much difference the overkill can make when you're actually going for a score. But Foodreef, big shout out to you, mate. Well done. Glad to see that you're up there in the top 10. Roar Matty, what have you ran? Oh, there you go, second one. He's went all out on the strat here. The reason you're using Usalia, believe it or not, it's actually not just for Mega Braveheart. One of the big reasons you use the Usalia is she gives a boost to damage dealt from skills. That becomes a lot more important as we go on, because obviously your stats are buff capped at level 300, so there comes a point where you can't really do any more damage out of them, so you need to start getting more damage from other places, which is why my team had specific characters on it that it had characters on it that could boost skill damages, which does become vitally important as you do go on. But you've done well getting up there, mate, well done. Now we reach me again. I've already explained what I did, so there's really no much point in going over it again. The last one I'm going to talk about is CJ. CJ, you have... Oh, yeah, we got another Meliodas. Looks like he has used Meliodas as his DPS again. I'm guessing that you've used Awakened Rosalind for the SP, Asagi to buff. We've also got Elizabeth to buff and Girola Harrow to buff as well. So again, pretty similar strategy to what we've seen. So obviously you can see that the main meta, shall we say, for this raid seems to have been using Kildare. I personally didn't want to use Kildare, mainly because, to be completely honest, I have not put enough effort into his supports. I've not put enough effort into my fist supports. I've not really worked too much on the speed meta, like running, because basically to run this, you've really got to be smart with your speed, because SP can become an issue. Well, at least I found that SP can become an issue, and I just kept running out of speed every time I was using this guy. And to basically use a strategy like this, I would have had to have worked on too many characters behind the scenes. So I decided just to stick with Meliodas. To be completely honest, if I had continued to farm crits, I could have got a better score. If you notice here, there isn't actually a massive amount of variance between, I want to say, 10th place and 4th place. If I had continued to farm crits, I could have got my score higher, but it's so boring. I mean, it is so boring that I just didn't want to do it anymore. I mean, I kept getting things like critting on the turn before the one I wanted to crit on, or critting on the first turn, and it would just mess everything up. You kind of need to nail your strategy exactly. Now, that's not going to be like that for every single raid. Spoiler alert, there's probably going to be another raid soon. When, I'm not going to say, but let's just say it's probably not too far away. But that raid is probably going to work a lot better with a team like, say, this, or a team like this. Something like that might be ideal. That's all I want to say. But yes, we do get another chance to go up here. Now, most people have probably realised already that ranking doesn't really matter. I mean, when you look at like, let's just look. Obviously, Hammy, 2nd place, 3rd place. You guys, maybe not even 3rd place, but you guys did okay, reward-wise. But, I mean, look, if you get into the top 10, you're getting 800 and 1,000 3rd. But if you only made it into the top 100, it's 750. Top 500, 700. Top 1,000, 650. I mean, there's no point in getting all sweaty and starting to try to bust your balls to try and get yourself a higher score. It's just not worth it. I mean, if you're looking to, maybe, if you're bored, if you want to push higher for like some sense of achievement for yourself, then go for it. But don't do it for rewards. It's not worth it. I mean, like, to be completely honest, it's just not worth it at all. You will find that the difference you get in quartz it's really negligible. So I wouldn't bother trying to bust your backside to try and get into the top 10 or whatever, just for the sake of some extra quartz, because really it's so small that it's not even going to matter to you at the end of the day. So yes, that is basically a look at how raids went. I think raids went quite well. The fact that Bolt Trend did actively deal with the cheaters was the first big tick in the box. People got to see just how important weapon mastery drops are. Now, everyone got lucky with them, but hopefully your turn will come on the next raid, which will obviously be pretty good, especially if you can get yourself plenty of those weapon mastery items. Skill mastery items are quite good as well, but clearly they're not on the same level as weapon mastery. So I'm guessing that's what everyone is going to be praying for when it comes to the next raid. All I will say as well is, if you are someone who is going to want to be farming screen cracks, you probably will have found that you went overboard a lot of points. Like, I had like nearly 1 million points that went unused because I was trying to farm screen cracks. What I would say is it might be more beneficial to you to not wait till after raids to farm them, and instead what to do is just keep your own boss really low and farm low level bosses. Ignore badasses. I know that probably sounds like the most crazy thing you've ever heard, but if you're hitting lots of badasses, you're going to max cap your points threshold very quickly, okay? If instead you decide to focus on more low level bosses, you will earn less points and it will take you longer to complete the raids, but what it will mean is you're doing more raids naturally and you will have a higher chance of getting screen cracks. Obviously we need to wait and see who the bonus units are going to be for the next raid whenever it's announced, but I will say if you're someone who does summon for units to get screen cracks, maybe, possibly, think about not going all out at the start and instead targeting lower level bosses, and it might come a bit more naturally to you. Anyway guys, that's been a look at the raids. I think it went really well. I think most people enjoyed it, and people are already chomping at the bit to get more raids coming back. Now what I will say is, I'm not 100% sure of what Boltren's schedule is going to be. We are due a couple of raids actually, we're overdue a few, but when we get into a constant flow, it will become like JP where we should get a raid every month. So don't worry too much just now about maybe not getting the weapon mastery items, weapon mastery innocence and stuff like that you're after, because it will come in the fullness of time. It's just a matter of sticking with it, continuing to do the raids, and they will come, they will come. Anyway guys, I've been Hayzink. I appreciate you joining me on this video. Make sure in the comments down below, let me know how you got on with raids, let me know what kind of drops you got, let me know what your weapon mastery innocence are like, how many did you end up with. I know some crazy people went completely overboard and they just farmed non-stop screen cracks until it ended, and some of them have ended up with well over 1,000. So let me know in the comments down below how you got on. As always, I appreciate you joining me on these videos. I've been Hayzink. I came ninth. I'll take that, and I'll catch you on the next one. See you later dudes. Peace.